Hey everyone, it's Hunter and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a different background. It's not actually that different. I just have my camera sitting in a different place and I think I really like it because I'm more comfortable this way. Today's video, I'm talking about the basics of being an Airbnb host. If you don't know, my husband and I are Airbnb hosts and we have two properties that we manage as Airbnbs. We have one that's actually in our home and we just rent out a room in our house. We don't have any kids or anything and we're not planning on having kids for a couple of years, so we plan on renting out our guest room for as long as we can. It's a great source of income and we live here. It's not like we had to furnish that room we were gonna furnish that room as a guest room anyway, so we figured we might as well take pictures of it and put it on Airbnb, and it has done incredibly well since we started doing that. We started doing that in June, like the end of June, beginning of July of 2019. And when we get to having had that place listed for a year, I am gonna do a video talking about how much money we've made doing it because I do feel like it's a super interesting business venture to have. So that is gonna be coming this summer. But we also have another property that we just invested in with Mason's parents actually. It's a whole, we keep calling it the condo, or we call it Buttercup because the name of the road is Buttercup Way. And we have, we live in a townhouse ourselves, but we bought like a condo townhome kind of thing that is 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, and we just actually completed it. It's not on Airbnb right now, but since we just completed it, I do have a full house tour of it, and then I have a couple of other videos of us like renovating it and the before of the house when it was empty, and it has been so much fun and I feel like I've learned a lot from doing that. Right now we are, with everything that's going on in the world because of the coronavirus, people aren't traveling as much, people still need places to live, so we are right now just working on trying to get a tenant to live there for like a short-term, like 6-month lease, just so that it can be occupied so that we can make money to pay the bills there. Right now we're just mostly concerned about the mortgage, so we're working on a tenant for that place right now, so then after that we're gonna like offer it as an Airbnb. But right now we know that it's not gonna get any business because we haven't had anybody in our room in a couple of weeks. So anyway, I wanted to give you guys a background on my history with being an Airbnb host just to give myself some credibility, and I also have a nice little list of stuff that I'm going to talk about, so let me pull out my note. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you have not already, and please be sure to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps. Also, if you do not already follow me on Instagram, I would love it if you would do that as well, and let's go ahead and get started. So this is quite a long list, so we may be here for a while. It's 2 full pages of notes, so like I said, we may be here for a while, so grab a snack and let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, obviously you need a property to rent out. It can be a room in your house. I'm not sure if you can rent out a couch, but it can be a room in your house or it can be an extra property. We have both, which is really nice because we can charge more for the other place, but also it's like a nice place, so if we have like a huge group of people coming to stay, then we can put them there and they have a place of their own, so they don't feel like they're intruding on our space, but they still have a space to call their own, if that makes sense. But anyway, first you have to have a property, and if you are watching this video, then you're either planning on becoming an Airbnb host or you are like getting ready to start the process and you're wanting to know how to get started. So that's where I come in. So first I have getting started. So the basics of every Airbnb is the first B, bed, bed and breakfast. The most important part is the bed part, and that is what is most important for any Airbnb, whether you're renting out a room in your house or a whole place. But what you need for this is literally like physical things that you need. So I would recommend having at least 2 pairs of sheets for each bed that you have in the house. That way, whenever you have a guest in your room, they check out, you can immediately switch over the sheets without having to wait for your new sheets to be cleaned. So that way it gives you time to, one, clean the sheet and not have to worry about someone coming immediately, or it gives you a little bit more time. It's definitely a time saver. It can be a little bit pricey up front to invest in some nice sheets, but they also have some at Target for like 30 bucks for a queen size sheets, so, and they actually are really nice. So I mean, you don't have to spend a ton of money on super expensive sheets because like you can get nice ones for cheaper. My next recommend, oh, also because, you know, in case one of them gets ruined, then you have a pair for them to use if they get ruined, if that makes sense. So like if someone's staying in your house for like 2 weeks and they ruin a pair of sheets, that way they can take off the sheets that are on there and put on new ones so that you can take care of the stains. I would also recommend that all of your linens be either white or super light colored. I have watched so many shows about hosting on Netflix and on YouTube, and the #1 thing that they always say is that white is the color of hospitality. And if you notice that every hotel that you ever go to has white sheets, and it's because white is easier to see if it's clean, if there are stains on it, if there's hair hairs on it. It's just so easy to see if it's clean, and if they're like, it's easier to hide stains, and it's easier to hide hair on darker sheets, and that is not appealing to guests because it's just not fun. And also, if you do have a smaller space, white reflects light better, so it makes it seem like your space is bigger. Then next, I would recommend at least 1 towel per every 2 days that a guest is staying, per guest, unless they're staying for like a really long amount of time. If it's someone that's staying in your house for like 2 or 3 days, give them like 2 towels and they should be good. But if they're staying in your room for like 2 weeks, because we have had people stay for like multiple weeks, halfway through the week we don't have enough towels to give them like 6 towels, so we ask if they want towels halfway through the week. Like, we just ask if they need clean ones. But we also have a washing machine, and like if your place doesn't have a washing machine, then you might want to have like a ton of stuff if you're not going to be able to exchange it, because if you stay in a hotel, housekeeping comes every day and switches out towels if you need them to. But if it's an Airbnb and there's not a washing machine there, then you might want to have enough so that they never run out. Also, hand towels are really important, because if they wash their hands in the bathroom, they need to be able to wipe their hands off on something that's like clean, that's designated for just washing or cleaning their hands. Next, I feel like basic toiletries are super important to have, because sometimes people don't think about those when they're packing, or like I always pack toiletries whenever I go somewhere, but if they have stuff that I can use, then I usually use their stuff instead of mine, because it's easier than taking all my stuff out and having it sit all over the counter worrying about forgetting something or whatever. I just use what they have most of the time, because it's just a lot easier and it lasts a lot longer because I have a lot of hair. And last but not least, for the bedding, I recommend 2 pillows per person that can sleep in the bed. So if you have a queen size bed, you want to have at least 2 pillows or 4 pillows. If you have a king size bed, again, 4 pillows. If you have a twin, at least 2, but don't have just 1 pillow for each person to sleep on, because sometimes people like to sleep with just one really flat pancake pillow like I do, but Mason likes to sleep with both of these pillows, and his are a lot, like this is his side of the bed, so like he sleeps with both of these and they're both pretty like firm and fluffy, and then I sleep on like a pancake over there. And a bed and a bathroom are the 2 most important parts, so I feel like all of those things are absolutely essential. Next, if you have a kitchen or a kitchenette, then it's also important to consider what you need. If you have a full kitchen, then my list is here. I would recommend having basic cooking utensils like a spatula, spoons, and tongs, and basic pots and pans. The new place that we have, it literally has a spatula, spoon, and tongs. That's it. And then we got a pack of, or a box of pots and pans. It has 2 pans, a small one and a big one. Or no, it's the other way around. It has 1 really big like frying pan, and then it also has a small pot and a big pot, so you can cook sauce and pasta or whatever. And then also just a basic cutting board, basic knife, silverware, trash can and bags, dish soap, and a coffee maker if you want to do that. I would recommend a coffee maker because people like their coffee. And other things to consider having would be an iron and an ironing board, or a steamer for the closet. And then last but not least, hangers. If you have a closet in the room, then people sometimes want to hang their clothes up whenever they get there. The next thing I want to talk about is rules. So now that you have everything set up, now you need to consider what your rules are. When I went to Puerto Rico, I stayed in an Airbnb that had a lot of rules, and I felt like the rules were super tedious at first, but then after I thought about it, I was like, actually, like, these are pretty good rules. And even rules that they didn't have in like a rule book or listed in the rules on their like listing, they still had, like in the shower, it said to throw your trash, throw your hair away in the in the shower, and don't let it go down the drain because it ruins the drain and it costs a lot of money to get it fixed. The lights turned off when you leave a room. Things that are like super simple like that, that are pretty common sense, or should be common sense. Like if you're at your own house, you don't want your drain to get plugged up. Like, you need to treat other people's houses, you want your house to be treated. So a lot of times the rules are pretty common sense, but you have to list them. First, you have to decide on check-in and check-out times. I like to use hotel times, but we also have a flexible policy. So hotel times are usually out by 11, and you can check in around 3 or 4. For us, we have it set up so that you can check in at 4 o'clock and we have checkout at 11. We're a lot more strict about the check-out time than the check-in time, just because we want you out by 11, because if somebody, like I said, we're super flexible about check-in time. So if you are flying in, your flight gets in at like noon, we're not gonna make you sit around forever until 4 o'clock to come to your room, because you just got off a flight, you're probably really tired, you probably wanna like take a shower and relax right after you were just on a flight. So we are not super strict about that, because we don't want you to, we need you to be out so that the next person can come in. However, we are willing to work with you. If you let us know before you check in, can I stay until 12:30? And if we don't have somebody else coming that day, or if somebody else doesn't need to come earlier, then like we're more than willing to work with you. We do have those flexible times, but for the most part, most people are out by 11 and most people don't come until 4 or 5. You have to think about things like, do you want people to take their shoes off when they enter the home? Do you have brand new carpet that you don't want ruined? Will you allow smoking in your place? Do you allow people to have parties? Something else to consider is areas that they're allowed to access. Then you have to consider checkout instructions, what you want people to do with food that they purchase, or what you want them to do with the sheets, the towels, the dishes, trash, things like that. How are you going to handle spills and stains? The next thing to consider is if you will allow pets or children. Are you going to have a designated quiet time? So they have to be quiet between 11 and 6 a.m. like to avoid bothering the neighbors. And then the last thing is designated parking. Finally, outside of rules, some things to consider are to have a guidebook. If you want to have a guidebook, we had one of those in Puerto Rico, and it was so nice to have that because it gave us restaurant recommendations and beach recommendations and other entertainment to do if it's raining, if it's pretty outside, different excursions to do. It was really nice because we didn't have to rely on the internet to be able to get all that information, and it was from people who have spent a lot of time there. Next to consider is a cleaning fee. We have a $15 cleaning fee in our place because we do have to buy cleaning supplies for that room. We have to clean the sheets a lot. It's $15 and the sheets cost $30. So if we have like 5 people stay and one person ruins our sheets, then we can easily go replace the sheets because somebody, like, the cleaning fee pays for that, and it also just pays for the amount of cleaning supplies that we're using in that place because we do use a lot of cleaning supplies. Next is reviews. You want to make sure that you are always leaving reviews for your guests, because if you don't leave a review for your guests, they can't leave a review for you. You can leave a review for them, but you can't see it until after. You can't see the review they wrote for you until after you write a review for them. So mutual reviews are important, and you want to make sure that you have good reviews because that's how people know if they want to stay with you. And last but certainly not least, probably the most important thing to consider when you are starting an Airbnb business is safety. Your safety is by far the most important thing to you and to Airbnb. They want to make sure that you feel safe. You want to make sure that you feel safe. Like I said, we have this padlock right here, and it has a keypad. I'm just going to take you over there. Hold on. So we have this padlock, and it's locked right now, but this isn't unlocked, and then the door opens. But if the padlock is closed, it's not getting open. Like, you're not going to get that open. And then it has this keypad on the front where you can put a key in here, like a legit key in here, because this you can just use like a credit card corner and like unlock this, and that's too easy. So there's this, and you just type in the code. So like if I type in random numbers and it's wrong, they're not going to come in. And if I'm in here and someone tries to type in the numbers, then like I know what they're doing, and just press that button to lock it, and then you just unlock it like that. So it's also really nice to have something like that for your own sake, for your safety. So when you're sleeping, you don't have to worry about intruders, but then you can also lock the door whenever you are not here, so you can, they don't have to come in here. And then we also have one of those on our front door, and that's how people get into our house. And then after each guest, we change the passcode. So that was my whole guide to being an Airbnb host. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will link, oh, you can't see it anymore. I will link the padlock situation down below for you guys if you want to check it out. We got this one from Amazon, but we also got one from Home Depot, and it was like the same price. So if you'd rather buy it in person first, whatever, they have it at Home Depot, but I'll link the Amazon version down below so you guys can check it out. It's really nice. It was really cheap. It's easy to program. 10 out of 10. But that's all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will link all my other videos related to Airbnb down below as well, so you guys can check those out. I'll make a playlist so you can check them all out if you're interested, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!